With us now is Father Thomas Rosica. He is the Vatican Deputy Spokesperson. Also, Delia Gallagher, Senior Editor of Inside the Vatican Magazine and a CBS News Vatican Consultant. Welcome.
Thanks very much.
At day 2 of the previous conclave, Pope Benedict was selected. Is he watching? What do you think he thinks of this?
Well, I'm going to do some breaking news with you, if you don't mind. I'm just on my way over to the press briefing in the press hall where there's hundreds of journalists waiting. But I was with Pope Benedict's secretary last night. I was in the Sistine Chapel just before we were all thrown out with extra omnes. And Archbishop Ganswein told us that the Holy Father is watching everything on TV. He watched the Mass yesterday morning. He watched the ceremony from the Sistine Chapel, was watching it, and he had his eyes fixed on the chimney. So I think that's good news. What do retired popes or resigned popes do? They want to see what's happening at the Home Office.
So what is your read on what is happening at this moment with these 2 votes down and another important vote coming up this afternoon?
It tells me that they're taking their role very seriously. They're not going to settle for second bust. The first vote normally is a wide field of names that are put out there, and this morning would be even to narrow down some of those names and also to give some clear signals that perhaps what many people thought would happen is not going to happen. The cardinals went into this conclave very well informed. They had that week of very serious meetings in which they examined some important questions of the Church. And I think they have a very clear idea, dare I say even a clearer idea than in the past, of what is required, who is required, what the challenges are. And they're going to continue voting until that person emerges.
Delia, the last 6 conclaves have lasted on average 1.8 days. We have 2 more votes this afternoon. Do you think we'll have a pope by the end of the day?
I initially thought yes, because we were talking about some front runners, but it may go even into tomorrow. I mean, you can make predictions, but we really just don't know.
The field is more wide open this time.
I think it's slightly different from 2005. It seems so anyway, because the cardinals last time said they looked at Cardinal Ratzinger during those general congregations, and he just seemed like the figure, and he'd been there for 26 years under John Paul II. So I think this time, Father, maybe you agree that it does seem a little bit more wide open with the candidates.
Yeah, and also, as I mentioned the other day, we're not having a conclave now under the cloud of a funeral and of sadness and of mourning. This is a conclave that was called together to really look at some very serious issues.
But there's this difference. This time it was a surprise, the Pope's resignation.
That's right.
Last time people knew that the Pope was dying.
Right.
And so it had time to think long before about what comes next.
At the same time, when you're in the mood of a funeral and of eulogizing and of having this looming figure of Pope John Paul II before us, a great figure, that certainly colored the way that people look at issues. So right now, I think there's another set of questions.
Delia, what happens now? We have had 3 votes, and now all of the cardinals are going to have lunch and a siesta, a little bit of a break before they come back this afternoon. Is there politicking that goes on now behind the scenes where one group may throw their weight behind another cardinal?
Well, let's call it thinking. I mean, I think they're reflecting on, where do we go from here? They know what some of the numbers are, and yes, I think at a certain point they've got to get together and say, okay, I'm going to put my vote behind this man so we can get to that 77 number.
Delia, Father Rosica, thank you very much.